to speak to that issue of dealing with education.
Okay. Well, there are two pieces that I would like to just cite. Dr. Gordon Allport, in his classic piece entitled The Nature of Prejudice, he indicates in there that we have to understand this legacy, this history, in order for us to come to the table and have a true dialogue about it. Dr. Alan Johnson, another sociologist, has a book entitled Privilege, Power, and Difference, where he also reiterates that whole phenomenon of how we have to understand what has occurred in the past. We have to be familiar with the terms, the legacy of the past, in order to be able to move forth in a very positive way. We can't act as if we are oblivious to what happened in the past and everything out of osmosis is just going to get better and everything is just going to be real smooth for the 21st century in higher education. So by understanding it, I think educators can come to grips with it. And that coming to grips with it means that we have to have a curriculum, some sensitivity to ethnic diversity, some sensitivity to how we should go about having classes. And that's why I think the Historical African American University is still so important as we move into this 21st century, particularly places like Tennessee State University, Fisk University, you know, Jackson State University, North Carolina Central, Howard University, Lincoln University. All of these schools and many more still have this as a primary mission within their curriculum to try to help students to do better and prepare them, as we all know, for all levels of not only education but specializations.
You know, let's talk about these historical black colleges by giving our audience, before we have our second commercial break, 2 or 3 minutes, for some information relative to these institutions themselves and how these institutions came into being.
Okay, these are very important institutions, and as I gave you that legacy of enslavement, coming out of that, when there were no schools, no institutions of higher education that were quote-unquote European American would allow people of African descent to attend them. So as a result of that, missionaries in many instances were very important in coming into the Deep South and understanding the importance of having institutions of higher learning there, started to found some of these institutions. For instance, right here in this particular state, Fisk University was founded in that way. And of course, the Jubilee Singers were very instrumental in trying to get resources and monies available so it could stay open, and many people went there. We can't have a true conversation about this until we talk about Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois. And when he talks about the importance of education and how these institutions and their mission was there for African Americans to be able to become educated. And so they were there for that particular purpose, because we lived in a society, again, that had created certain laws and bylaws, ways of beings that always left people out. And these institutions were at the foundation of giving opportunity for people to do better. As I sit here, and it's a very good example of that, is attending one of those institutions and finishing it.
Very good. And of course, when we come back, let's see if we can, and we've got about 50 seconds before our second commercial break. Let's see if we can pull all of this together by at least getting some kind of direction in terms of where we as a society ought to go in the 21st century dealing with higher education. Certainly, I think that if we've already contended that higher education is as important in the 21st century, perhaps as a secondary education might have been earlier, you see. There has to be a problem in terms of access, you see, and so I know that you've got quite a bit of information in reference to access, and so when we come back, we want you to talk about how do we make higher education available to a larger group of individuals in the 21st century. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. The topic is higher education.